The next step in making our duck pen is going to be sealing at the edges by caulking them. We prefer to use this tub and wall peel and stick caulk. It's really easy to use. You pretty much just peel the paper backing off and stick it into the corners that need to be caulked. Using regular caulk from a squeeze tube can be really difficult, mostly because it doesn't really make a really nice line. That and after it cures, it can kind of be sticky to the touch, kind of rubbery from the silicone in the caulk. And if you're using a pine bedding, either sawdust or shavings, the bedding can stick to the caulk and it can be really difficult to clean. So we use this stuff here. This stuff is really simple and easy to use. We use one that's about 7/8 thick. You don't need any thicker than that. It actually works pretty well. Now we'll come in and I'll show you how I have my caulk strip working so far. I've actually already started it down and in my corner over here, but I can show you guys essentially how it works. I've cut this piece to length, so it's the length going across the entire side of our pen here. And pretty much all you got to do is peel the paper back, and then with the caulk you want to kind of bend it into a kind of fold in on itself here. Then you can push the bent edge all the way into the corner. I like to put about 8 to 10 inches down before I go ahead and I seal along the side. What's nice about this stuff is if you mess up ever so slightly, you can pull it off and redo it. So, and then once you have it down and exactly where it needs to be, you can go ahead and give it a good push, just to make sure you're allowing the caulk to make contact with both edges of your pen. Now, if you have tiled the sides of your pen, which we highly recommend that you do, some tiles, they may not stick as well, so you may have to put in staples. That's what we've done. We just kind of stapled the corners just to make sure they stay on there and they don't fall off. Sometimes with cheaper tiles, they can peel themselves off. But if you do staple in, you just want to make sure you staple above where you're going to caulk, just so that way the staples don't get in the way of your caulk tape. And as you can see, it goes in pretty easily. I am by no means a carpenter or a professional at any of this, and it's all easy for me to use. And what we have here, just so you guys know what this here is our stopper for our ramp. That's actually where the edge of our ramp comes, and this little piece keeps it from slipping out. Luckily, we were able to put it up high enough so that way the caulk tape goes underneath it. Now, before I finish this row, I'm going to give you guys just another word of advice. Come around this way. Is with your caulk, that wherever you're going to have their food and their water placed, this is our food and water half here. We've put this nice little roof on the top of it, which is also tiled, and that is to help keep any splattering from the food or the water from just splattering out. We all know how ducks love to be messy. But since over here is going to be the messiest spot of the whole pen, we're going to go ahead and we're also going to caulk up the sides. So pretty much what I can do, when you're cutting your caulk, you can just kind of line it up into your area, or you can use you can go ahead and use a measuring tape too if you prefer. It cuts really easy, just a simple pair of scissors can cut it. Luckily, it doesn't leave any residue on the scissors. And again, just peel part of it to start with. Don't peel the whole thing off. That would just help prevent it from sticking the other surfaces and potentially losing some of its stickiness from dust and whatnot. Now I've already wiped all my tiles free of any debris to make sure they stick really well, but you'll want to go through and just give it a little wipe down with a wet paper towel. So now with me, I'm actually going to start on the bottom first, just because that's where I want to make sure that everything is securely in place. Now with corners, you don't have to get fancy or try to cut it on a 45-degree angle or anything like that. You can just allow them to overlap. You know, it's luckily this is going to be under your bedding, so it won't be very noticeable. And again, you just want to give it a little squeeze so that way the inside bends. And then once you have it on there, I'll give you guys a little bit closer of a look here. But if you see here, I just have the caulk overlapping itself. And I have one coming down here, this one's on top, and then these come right over the top of it. That's perfectly fine. Of course, if you are a bit of a perfectionist, you can trim these if you'd like, so that way you don't see that edge there. But again, you just want to go all the way up, and we're going to come all the way up to the top here. And in order to make sure that the caulk stays stuck up the sides like this, they can peel off. Is again just to put a staple or two in it, just like here on the edges of our tiles. So just 1 or 2 staples will just help make sure it sticks firmly to the edge there, so you don't have to worry about them falling down. I'll give you guys one more closer look here at the tub and tile stuff that we use. We use just white stuff. We get it at Home Depot. It's very easy to use, so I highly recommend this stuff. This stuff works really great.